A good sound on cello. What is important when we want to improve the sound? Is it how we hold the bow? Let's do a test. I will play a few bars of Bach's Bourrée. And first I play with the bow hold as if I can't play cello. I just take the bow in my fist. Let's look what happens. Now I play my normal bow hold, but ignore what I know about sound production. And now I play with the same bow hold. What makes the difference? Bow hold is not unimportant because it can cause discomfort and pain, but it hardly contributes at all to sound quality. Every cellist has therefore a bit different bow hold. Before going into what contributes to sound quality, I have a look at how a note starts. On C. We can see the string moving with the bow direction. This happens on all strings, but we can see it best on C. What is happening? When we drag the string in one direction, at some stage the string can't stand up to the tension and vibrates back. Actually, the technical setup is strange. We expect a good sound by dragging the bow in one direction and expect the string to move freely and carelessly underneath the dragging bow in two directions, as if you pluck a string. Of course, that can cause problems. If you push too hard, the vibration of the string is compromised and it sounds squashed. So we need to play lighter. But if you play too light, the string starts producing harmonics, squeaks. And when we start too fast, the string misses the point to allow the string to vibrate fully. Well, every single note starts from a standstill. It's a bit like riding a bike, starting, getting speed and slowing down, every single bow, like traffic and lights. In one piece of music, we change bow direction maybe 100 to 500 times. It is the most important technical moment to know intimately, because if we miss creating the quality at the beginning of each bow, it is often lost for the whole note, like in the Bourrée with a rough sound. I will come later in the C scale to the best way of learning that. There's no certain straightforward technique which ensures a beautiful sound. The quality is created instead by constant listening and reacting on what we hear and correct, either intuitively or know from experience and knowledge what sounds good and bad. What is this knowledge? In general, what makes a sound quality is happening just at the spot where the bow touches the string, the contact point where the sound is created. It is not too complicated because there are only 5 elements contributing. The bow tilt, which is slightly towards us, the bow direction, always straight and perpendicular to the bridge. And once this is settled, there are 3 interrelated variable elements. The weight at the nut or pressure at the tip, the bow speed, and the contact point on the string between bridge and fingerboard. These three variables interact with each other. I start with the bow direction and will go later through the three variable elements. To remind the listener, the bad sounding examples of the bourrée had at least a straight bow. First, what difference does it actually make? Do it all in one bow. Or it's pretty obvious. Because this is very important, I developed for my lessons a little tool, a board at bridge level. I just get it, I cut out the bridge, and you can hold it exactly at bridge level. It makes it visible for the whole length of the bow. It's difficult to hold by myself, but I give it a try. So the bow should be parallel on all strings to this board. And if you do that, it might catch you by surprise, particularly on the A string and C string, what is parallel. And the reason for this is that unwittingly we think straight is, for example, here what is parallel to the floor, and the same is on the A string. But it's not parallel to the bridge. Parallel to the bridge is an independent direction which just relates to this level. How can we learn to control the bow direction? Once we have the right idea, the best practice is playing a simple slow scale like C or D major in, let's say, 3 beats per note, and by memory, so we can watch the bow. And by watching the contact point, we should also watch the relation between hair and stick, the tilt, that it looks always the same, even when we change strings or when we change bow direction. Many players fold the bow over on the C string away from them, and then when they come to the A, they fold it over the other way, that they nearly touch, which is stick the string. And not to forget, we need to start slowly, like riding a bike, or it might sound like in the bourrée. I have been asked, how do you learn then to change the bow smoothly, without a break? You learn it by accepting that there is a break. Once we accept it, we can hide it by that the sound comes again instantly back. If we try to ignore it, the direction change will create a delayed response of the string and show it more. I play here the beginning of the Vivaldi Sonata No. 5, and I play it too smooth, and you can see what I mean. So you can play quite smooth by always starting a little bit slower. Except for beginners, I recommend to play the slow scale over 3 or 4 octaves. This will make us developing ease and comfort in the upper region, and for the left hand too. Then we learn on the way also that the contact point relates to the length of the sounding string, not of the whole string. The best golden contact point shifts according to how high we play on the fingerboard. For example, if the best contact point for the middle C is about here, let's say 6 centimeters away from the bridge, then 1 octave higher it will be half of that. And here already doesn't sound well. And again closer to the bridge. If I go now back to the middle C, will sound too harsh, and I need to be here. But if I hear at the right spot, the middle C spot doesn't work at all. Now to the tension or relaxation of our bow hand. Starting at the nut, the bow should rest on the string, just resting the hand. This will allow best to let the string vibrate freely. If we hold the bow tight, the hand can't feel the reaction of the string and sort of floats over the string. I demonstrate it at the tip. We don't hold the bow in our hand. Once we go to the string, we let the string carry it. And then we lean on the string. Many players hold the bow too tight. Here's a little exercise to get a lighter bow hold, and I call it the sofa exercise. By the way, for practical reasons, we better don't practice on a tiled floor. If the bow drops, it could snap, so it makes our hand tight. I hold here the bow above a sofa or bed, so it falls, nothing can happen. Now I loosen and loosen the grip very, very gradual until it finally drops. I do that again and try to remember how it feels just before it drops. You might notice that in order to drop, we not only need to loosen, but also to open our fingers a bit. We stop just before that. So when we don't hold, the bow doesn't drop. This is the best hold. Coming back to the cello, instead of holding now the bow, we actually just rest on it, gently. The bow does not fall. Our weight, no pushing, is enough. However, if we continue to the tip, the bow fades away when we don't add pressure, even if I hold it. Why? To demonstrate, I invented a test called pressure test. I lean very strong at the nut on the hand, and I try to lift the bow up. It is very hard. You can try the same with another player. I push at the tip quite hard, not too strong, the bow can snap, and I lift it off with a pinky. Surprised? I measured the impact on the string. At the nut, we can easily, with hand and arm weight, push 8 to 10 kilograms on the string. Usually we don't, like a solid forte or an accent, 3 kilos. At the tip, if we press with our index finger extremely hard, the pressure on the string will be 300 grams. Therefore, in all symphony orchestras, the big accents are played with a down bow, and traditionally, the first beat of a bar was played, if possible, with a down bow. And it's called the down bow rule. I was once taught by a teacher guru who said, a good cellist can play an accent with the same force with up bow. But in fact, that's wrong. It's ignorant of the physics. That means, at the nut, our hand weight is enough. But weight needs to be replaced with pressure via the index finger towards the tip. I hold therefore my bow arm slightly tilted inwards. Then the arm converts weight by leaning on the index finger naturally, without pushing at the finger as such. I just do it. And now I do it and I hold the bow in my left hand. So the movement is the upper arm moves and then I stretch out. And the fingers have always the same bow hold, which makes it easier. A very good exercise is to play a note and listen that the sound has absolutely even loudness. One can feel what needs to be done. And back to the scale, by playing even dynamics in up and down bow, we learn to manage weight and pressure. and we can find out on the way also some things about the three variable elements. Each string has a slightly different golden touch contact point. On C, a bit more to the fingerboard, towards the A, gradually more to the bridge. Try the opposite and you can notice the difference. You will find out too, on the C string the bow has to be slower and heavier, not light or faster, whereas on the A string the bow is light, not too close to the fingerboard and not heavy. And that's because the strings have a different gauge and ask for a different treatment. To demonstrate that, I will play now two scales in C. The first with even bow speed, and the second time with considering that every string is different. Second one. For an even sound, I need uneven bow speed. Well, if any of you have learned to play with bow stickers, you may be confused. They are the greatest nonsense invented. They create an inflexible, unmusical sound. Every dynamic demands a different amount of bow. Every so slight difference in speed, allegro, allegro moderato, andante, requires a different amount of bow. Every string requires a different amount of bow. Also, the extreme nut and tip don't sound very well. And for many pieces, you don't have a certain spot, but you have a really good spot where it sounds good. With bow stickers, a lively dynamic can't be developed. For example, usually the better way to change dynamics is by altering the bow speed, then changing pressure. Sticker stops that action. An example. The first eighth note was 3/4 of the bow. The finishing quarter note was just 1/4 of the bow. And that's because it sounds better. Stickers also encourage and train the player to cover just the required area with regard of sound. For example, I've heard it so often from students which were trained with bow stickers. At last, when we play a slow note, we cover relatively more bow than if we play a lot of faster notes. I'll take an example. A note. The short notes have then no way to produce a good sound. They need less bow. It's a total new game to take the stickers off and listen to what may be required. One last point. A few of my teachers told me to watch my finger and wrist movements. I found though that small finger movements, particularly active finger movements, create small noises, not good sounds, and rather interfere with a smooth sound. I play with a lazy hand and it slows down the start of each note so we have less noise. It looks like it might be active, but it's guided from the elbow and the hand lags behind and slows down the beginning of each bow change. Focusing on watching also makes us striving for visual perfection, which can in fact take away from listening and let us strive for musically irrelevant goals. These small movements also interfere with controlling weight and pressure. Active wrist movements can also distort the bow tilt. And instead of going from string to string, just the bow tilts. And if we change the bow change, the tilt changes so much that the character changes without intention. And for example, string changing in piccato with wrist movement can make it stop because of the tilt change. As for a bow feeling, the best result is produced by thinking that the movements are guided from the elbow, not from the hand, not from the wrist, not from the fingers. Like in the C scale, we focus on what the bow does, guided from the elbow, not from the hand or wrist. And we focus particularly on the spot on the string, guided from the elbow. It helps to have a real empathy for the string, listening out for the beautiful and free vibration. We can hear and feel what goes wrong and what sounds good. I'm hoping that by going back to the cello, the first results will show today.